Procrastination, the silent killer of productivity, the thief of time, the enemy of progress. The endless cycle of putting things off until the last minute, only to feel stressed and overwhelmed when the deadline approaches. It doesn't matter if you work at a gas station or run a multi-million-dollar company. Procrastination doesn't care about social hierarchy or yearly salary. Everyone struggles with this, including us. There are plenty of days where we just don't feel like working, and in our search to finding an end to procrastination for good, we tested out a bunch of these methods, and we think we found the most practical ways to do it, and that's what we're talking about in this video. Set specific goals. Look, this one's almost a cliche by this point, but it really works. The first step in ending procrastination is not giving it room to grow in the first place. When you don't have something clear in your head, there's no rush to do it. After all, you can't hurry if you don't need to be anywhere. So you take things more slowly. You fall into the trap of waiting for things to eventually happen, and before you know it, you're procrastinating. So, to offset this, define what you want to accomplish and create a plan of action to achieve it. But the trick to this is to make it super specific. Any little detail you can think of, add it in. The more specific you are, the better. This way you keep your mind active instead of defaulting into standby. Number 2, chunk it. Once those super specific goals are set, the rush comes in. So many things to get done and so little time. You'll never see the end to this. You feel tired already. That's your mind overreacting to keep you from putting any effort into it. You need to fight back. Instead of feeling overwhelmed by a large task, break it down into manageable pieces. For example, instead of thinking, I have to write a 20-page research paper, break it down into smaller chunks, like I'll write the outline today, research sources tomorrow, and write the first draft on Friday. Honestly, if you were to have just one single takeaway from this video, it's this right here. Chunking, at least for us, is the most effective way to start fighting back against procrastination. And the reason this works is because you can give yourself so little amount of work you feel ridiculous if you don't do it. We advise starting with something that takes around 5 minutes of work. For example, if you need to work on a new marketing campaign and you keep postponing it, just write the title. It takes a few seconds to open up a Google Doc and scramble in some words, and then you close it. Job done for now. You'll do it again tomorrow when you write a little bit more. Now, obviously, you might be in a position where you
cannot work 5 minutes a day, which is why you need to find what context works for you. Eliminate distractions. Identify and eliminate sources of distraction in your working environment. For example, close unnecessary tabs on your internet browser, put your phone on silent, and sit somewhere quiet. This is the straightforward, don't need to think about it approach, which again works surprisingly well. But one important note here is this method works best after you start working, because that's when your brain is most likely to start looking for ways to stop working. Imagine you're slapping your own hand away every time you open up Reddit when you know you really shouldn't. Number 4, use a timer. In addition to eliminating distractions, another thing we found that works pretty well is having a dedicated work mode timer. It's basically the equivalent of, I'll keep running until I reach that trash can. The way this works is you set a timer for specific amounts of time and work on a task until that timer goes off. For example, set a timer for 25 minutes and work on a task without interruptions. And every time you feel like doing something else, just glance over at the timer and tell yourself, 15 more minutes, I can stay focused. The stopwatch feature on your phone works great here. Number 5, prioritize your tasks. Okay, so you removed distractions and added a timer, but what are you actually going to work on? What do you pick? There are just so many things to do, right? Well, you gotta make a priority list. We actually suggest you do this early in your day. We heard this one from Tim Ferriss a while ago. In his mind, if you can find a single thing that will make you win the day and manage to do it, you're good. Now, that thing might be writing a better description for your products, having an important conversation that you keep postponing, anything like that. What we're trying to get at here is it doesn't have to be something huge. Now remember, you need to chunk it first. So let's say you find 5 things that if you can do in a day, you can call it a win. From that list, pick the most important one that will have the most impact. That is your number 1 priority. You will do nothing else unless you do that one thing. If you get it done and you feel like it, then you can move on to the next item on your list. Number 6, positive self-talk. A bit of self-talk goes a long way. After all, the most conversations you have in a day is with yourself in your own head. So why not use it to give yourself a bit of a kick? Change your inner
dialogue and use positive affirmations to boost your motivation. For example, instead of saying, "I can't do this," say, "I can do this." We all know it might sound corny when we say it, but you'll be surprised how much your attitude will change. And the reason this is important is because so many things depend on your attitude. Think about it. When you don't feel like it, you actually tell yourself you can't do it. It's all a matter of perspective, so shift yours. That's another thing we help you to do with the ALUX app. Number 7. Eliminate perfectionism. Okay, so we've got a saying here at ALUX. Done is always better than perfect. Because let's be honest, perfect doesn't actually exist. Stop striving for perfection and focus on progress instead. For example, instead of rewriting a sentence for the 5th time, just move on to the next one. Ideas will eventually start flowing. You can go back and take a look at it later. When you fixate on something, you think you're doing it out of your desire to make it perfect, but in reality, you somehow convinced yourself to pretend to work so you don't feel bad about it, but not actually making any progress. Number 8. Take breaks. Regularly taking short breaks is also crucial in ending procrastination. When we work for long stretches without a break, our focus and productivity can begin to wane. Taking regular breaks can help to refresh your mind, regain focus, and increase your productivity. For example, take a 5-minute break every hour to stretch, grab a coffee or a water, do something fun. This way, you can come back to your task with a fresh perspective and some renewed energy. Number 9. Reward yourself. Setting up a reward system for yourself is a great way to celebrate small wins and accomplishments. When we reward ourselves, we give ourselves something to look forward to, which can be a great motivator. For example, treat yourself to a favorite snack or activity after completing a task. This way you can give yourself a sense of accomplishment and motivation to continue working toward your goals. Number 10. Find accountability. Sharing your goals and progress with someone else is an important step in holding yourself accountable. When we have someone who can support us, encourage us, and help us to stay on track, we're more likely to achieve our goals. For example, tell a friend or a family member about your goal and ask them to check in on you regularly. This way, you've got someone who can hold you accountable and remind you of your goals and progress. Having an accountability partner, or accountability buddy, can also provide a sense of motivation and encouragement, as well as a sounding board for any challenges and obstacles you may encounter along the way. Number 11. Get organized. Keeping your work area clean and organized is another important step in reducing stress and increasing productivity. When our work area is cluttered and disorganized, it can be difficult to focus and get things done. By decluttering your desk, using a planner, and filing away any important papers, you can create a clear and uncluttered space to work in. This way, you'll be able to find what you need quickly and easily and not waste any time searching for the stuff you're looking for. Number 12. Use the Pomodoro technique. The Pomodoro technique is a time management method that can help you work in short, focused bursts. So it involves working for 25 minutes, taking a 5-minute break, and then repeating the cycle. So for example, every 25 minutes, set a timer for 5 minutes and take a break, then get back to work. This way you can work in short, focused bursts and not get burnt out. Number 13, find your ideal working hours. Discovering the times of day when you're most productive and planning your work schedule accordingly is an important step in ending procrastination. By identifying when you're at your peak productivity, you can schedule your most important tasks for those times and get them done. For example, if you're a morning person, schedule your most important tasks for the first half of the day. This way you can take advantage of your natural peak productivity hours and get more done. Number 14. Learn to say no. If you're guilty of the "I'll do it myself" mindset, this one's for you, friend. One of the key steps in ending procrastination is learning to say no to unnecessary tasks and commitments. When we take on too much, we can easily become overwhelmed and stressed, which can lead to procrastination. So by learning to say no, we can prioritize our time and focus on the most important stuff. Does that make you a dick? No. It makes you responsible and accountable for the way you manage your time and resources. Number 15. Practice mindfulness. Take a few minutes each day to practice mindfulness and focus on the present moment. For example, take a few deep breaths. Focus on the sensation of your breath entering and leaving your body and let go of any distracting thoughts. In the end, the way to remove procrastination for good is to learn how to live with it. Realistically speaking, there's no magic cure to make it disappear from your behavior. But just as any bad habit, you can rewire your brain to do things differently. High achievers don't cure their procrastination habit. Instead, they override it by doing the things we mentioned in this video. Once you realize procrastination is essentially your brain overestimating the amount of work that you have to do, you'll start to change your attitude toward it. So next time you find yourself procrastinating, do yourself a favor, Aluxer, and rewatch this video. We'll guarantee you'll find your way out of it one way or another.
Please subscribe to my channel and support me. Don't forget to like and share.